Okay, I just got in these circuit boards. This is the 2022 version of the MGC gameBadge. For one thing, the circuit board is blue. I also made a few improvements to make it easier. The 3.3 volt regulator is now large. And as far as the battery charge controller, I'm going to pre-install all of them so people don't have to deal with this SOT 2305. It's not exactly beginner friendly. And I'm no Louis Rossman. Hey everybody. PPP bus, undervolt, PP bus, bus, Apple bus, New York real estate market bus. So I put a little solder paste down, although as I said, I'm gonna pre-solder these. And to do that, you can just kind of tin your iron and the flux will help the solder go to where it needs to go. I just switch charger chips. The ones from November became unobtainable. I tried to use a bunch of blue Smurf people to find new ones, but no luck. Otherwise, the design is pretty much the same. So let's do the the 1 UF capacitors first. Now I'm right-handed, which means I hold the iron in my right hand and the tweezers in my left. Your mileage may vary. So I put a solder blob on my right hand side and then I bring the part in from the left. And just get one side soldered. Doesn't have to be perfect because then you can go in. Like this one's pretty crappy, but I can go in, hit the other side, get it locked down, and then clean up the other side. You can see if you're not gripping it when you put it down with only one solder trace, it might tombstone, stand up on end. The part's so light, the surface tension of the solder will make it move. Next we've got a pair of 22 puff, 22 PF. These are used for the, wait, is that 22? That doesn't look like 22 puff. That looks like a 1. Did this get mixed up? Ugh. It was a wacky mix-up. These connect to the crystal which drives the clock, which I don't even know if we really need, but I don't know. I said it'd be cool to have a clock. Same thing, solder one side. Then of course, lose your other capacitor and be like, where'd it go? Exactly what we don't need during part shortages. Yeah, passives aren't the problem. Every car in America having 50 microcontrollers in it is the problem. Oh, to those who asked, I got a used Ford Escape. They don't really make wagons anymore. Saw a nice clean Texas Subaru. It was older than I wanted. 3.3 volt regulator. This is much easier to solder this time. So a little bit, just a little bit of solder here, right? Come back around. I'm going to put a little bit of solder here on the tab, mostly so the energy will transfer, or the heat. Well, I guess heat. Heat is energy! Memory is RAM! Now, I mean, it's not that critical. It's not like this thing sinks booger all heat. But I press down on it while heating the tab, and now it's in place. Now, when you solder this, I would suggest doing the thick parts last, but I'm going to put the USB on early because I want to test the charger ASAP. So the USB port goes in the front side of the board, like so. Why aren't you using USB-C? Because you wouldn't be able to solder a USB-C connector. I mean, assuming people that are less experienced with soldering do this workshop, yeah, USB Mini is the best choice. Because for one thing, you can still get it in through hole. Like this. So here I've chosen to flood the pins with solder and then use the wick to clean up the excess. Something else I changed was I separated the battery terminal connections as much as possible. You'll still need to snip the wires and solder them directly to the board, but I separated them physically, so there's less chance of short circuiting. Don't explode. Alright, didn't explode. Let's get a measurement. We'll let it charge for a little bit and make sure that's actually increasing in voltage. Okay, we're at 4.08 volts at 2:16 p.m. This light is supposed to turn off when it reaches full charge. Again, this is only 3mm LED I had laying around. I'll get some nice dull red ones for the actual build. Guess I'll restock my other components while I wait for this. Although this thing has a 470 ohm resistor for that LED. Although that LED is pretty bright. Of course, it's a white LED. The red ones again will probably be dimmer. Yeah. I might have to get a third bin. I don't even know where these bins came from. Max Energy? Did they come from Menards? Who's texting me? Leave me alone! Crap, I mean, this charger kind of has to work. I don't think do I even have time to get a different one? Okay, the voltage is going up, 4.14. That's not bad. Why is it flickering? This battery is a bit beat up. You want a new one? Not in your life. Me and that little droid have been through a lot together. Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop. Master Luke, he says he hates your guts. Charger appears to be working. Let's see what's left. The two 100 ohm resistors, almost like capacitors. Those are on the back here. So all the resistors are on the back, and all the capacitors are in the front, just to make it a little easier. So we've got a 2K, 470, and then two 100s. Happy little clouds. Dun 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 doo 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 dun 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 doo 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 dun 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 doo 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 doo. Hopefully I have just enough spares to make this example unit and fulfill the workshop. Alright, so here's the power switch. I had a toothbrush down here, but it got really dirty cleaning up the vise. So I need to find another old toothbrush. I think the dentist gave me a new toothbrush. So my current toothbrush could transform into an old toothbrush. Coronation Star Scream. This is bad comedy. Megatron, is that you? Here's a hint. What did he say his name was? Galvatron! I will give you a new body, and new troops to command. I only ask one thing in return. What is it, Omicron? Wait, is it Omicron or Omicron or... You must bring me wine. Bring me wine that has not been made before its time. And Mrs. Buckley has peas in the summer. So for the workshop, the charge controller will be pre-soldered just to make your life more tolerable. Then I suggest soldering on the capacitors, 1, 2, 3, 1 UH, then 2 22 puffer, or pH, picofarad. On the back, 2K resistor, two 100 ohm resistors, and a 470 ohm resistor, a through-hole 3mm LED, a 5mm LED up here, which just tells you that the unit's on, a 3-pin right-angle header for programming, although you shouldn't need that because I'm planning to pre-program the chips ahead of time. Alright, so basically you start with the lowest things and you go up. So I'm going to add the switches next, the tack switches. Again, I'm right-handed, so I'll blob on the right side, hold it with the left, bring it in, center it on the pads as best as you humanly can. Not bad for a human. I'm Orson Welles. Bring me 5 bottles of wine and a chicken. Don't be afraid to rotate the board around in the way that makes it best for you to do it. Since these parts are rotated 90 degrees, I rotate the board 90 degrees. The precious microcontroller. There's only 1 pound of these on the entire planet. I'd like to thank Osborne Industries for providing these for us. All right, so make sure that the notch, the circle, is in the upper left corner when viewed from the rear by the label U1. And that's just a flood fill. Just hit everything like that. One side at a time. I'm going to actually push it down just a little bit with my tweezers. I'm going to hit my iron on the sponge. And then we can kind of walk the dog here. Should work. Or not. Come on. There we go. See that? Kind of drag the ball of surface tension as far as you can. Then you really only need to clean up the last one. See how that works? We could also try to do them all individually. I will try it. I wish I had mechanical arms like Doc Ock. That would be amazing. I would totally be okay with them taking over my mind with their evil artificial intelligence. Alright, let's give the whole thing a hit of flux remover. And yep, here's the toothbrush. I just used this toothbrush this morning, but I was right. There was a new one in the drawer from the dentist. So, yeah. Yeah, it's gross! You know how many times I bite things, spit on things, lick things, strip wires with my teeth? This toothbrush is no worse than any of that. So what I do is I give it a shoot of the compressed flux remover, and then I take my toothbrush, I dunk it in rubbing alcohol. Peter Parker can lead you to Spider-Man. Don't hurt Peter! Very well. Clunk, clunk, clunk. And he comes back. Clunk, clunk, clunk. What if I, like, throw a car at him? No, you can't just throw a car at him. Why not? Well, because he's not Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man could dodge that car, but why would you just throw a car at a random geek? I mean, he's a geek. He's not even going to have very good coordination to get out of the way of the vehicle. All right. I promise I will not randomly throw a car at Peter Parker for no reason, thus killing him and removing his ability to tell me where Spider-Man is. All right, we're just about ready for programming. I've attached the piezo to the pins where it goes. The upper pin is ground, the lower pin is the green line, although I don't think it really matters. Some of the piezos have a blue line. Just cut the blue line off. We don't actually need that. That's used for sensing vibration, which piezos can also do. They can create vibration or they can sense it. It's a pretty common thing with electronics. Like your Roomba has a piezo and it detects if dirt's hitting it, like clunk, 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 clunk. All right, I'm gonna wire the battery up and then we'll hook it up to the programmer and see if it'll take code. These strips by the lanyard clips, that's actually ground. I put that there for a reason. Let's see. 4 volts in, 3.3 out, good. And let's see, ground is on the left, VREF is on the right, so I should be like, give me the green light, Rosie. Okay, another Spider-Man 2 reference. Load up Moon Force in Atmel Studio. It worked! Yay! Here we go. So yeah, the crystal runs a real-time counter, which is different than a real-time clock. But as long as you leave this unit on, it will keep the time. So when you're in the main menu, you've got the splash, you've got the Moon Force title, you get the time, and this top scores. The top scores are stored in EEPROM. All right, so you can hold the B button and then push different directions. So B plus down clears the EEPROM. B plus up inverts the colors. See that? That just sends a command to the OLED. Then you can also rotate the OLED. So if you want to actually play this like that, you can. And it actually does reverse the controls in the D-pad as well. And then I can hit B and hit A, and it goes to sleep. So now it's probably... Well, I guess we can test how much current it's drawing. The microcontroller can go into very low sleep mode, but the OLED is put to sleep, but it still drains more current in sleep mode than the microcontroller does. So the sleep mode isn't as great as it could be because of the screen. I guess you could pull the screen off. And then if you push menu, it wakes up from sleep mode. And then our clock should still be accurate. Yep. Should be able to charge it while it's running. I think. Boom! Yeah, it's okay. This battery charger is acting weird. It's like flickering the light as it charges. The voltage is going up. It's about 4.185, so it's probably reaching its peak. I'll let it go for about another half hour and we'll test it again. Once you know that it works, put some hot snot on the microcontroller and then stick the battery to it. Yay! Wow. Such professional. I'm not going to peel the cover off the screen because I have barely just enough of these screens to make it. I bought some from China, but they didn't send them all, so I had to buy a few extra from Amazon, plus the ones I had. Yeah, I think the first time I did this, I think we were talking about that like Shadow of the Beast kind of clone. I guess I could talk about how I programmed Moon Force. I made sure I ordered 32 of everything, so I'd have one extra, and I could make one test unit, which is what this is. So I didn't stuff the vertical header, but the idea is you can actually plug in the screen like this as well if you want to make like a vertical game like Tetris or Raiden or Truxton. Truxton is the greatest game ever since Truxton. I should just become a YouTube impersonator. That could be my new job. And so yeah, Moon Force. It's a combination of Space Force and Moon Patrol. As if you couldn't have figured that out. Game by Ben Hacks. Let's start Moon Force. So we've got a little map, just like Moon Patrol. And so this is all in, these are character graphics tiles, basically. So how did it work? It's 16 by 8, 8 by 8 characters on the screen, and the buffer is 32 by 8. So I have this oriented in left or side, side by side. So the frame buffers are side by side. I think in Nintendo terms, they called that vertical mirroring. And the gameBadge library, you can actually change it to make the mirroring horizontal so games can scroll up and down. So the background, the text tile background, textiles, yeah, it's made of cloth. The text tile background is drawn first, and then the sprites are drawn on top of it. So this is using a 1K frame buffer for the 128 by 64 equals 8,192 divided by 8 equals 1,024, 1K screen buffer. The chip has 2K of RAM. So the screen buffer, like the bitmap screen buffer plus the tile driver consumes 65% of the RAM, and then the rest you have left for the game. So see how I've got my Dune Buggy, he's a sprite. Maybe she's a sprite, I don't know. But see how I've got the wheels interacting? So the wheels look at the memory of the tile and see how they move up and down and react. Oh, and those things are dropping bombs that make holes in the ground. And see, my character died before he got to the boss. But there is a boss at the end of every stage. There's a UFO boss, and it's also somewhat randomized. Let's see if we can get to it. Since this takes place on the moon, of course. So in the background, that sphere, that's the Earth. So we've kind of got like Earthrise going on, in reference to that famous NASA photo that was taken on the moon, because we did totally go there. And in the background, you can see the sun. That little, see the other sphere, the little tiny sphere in the background. So when you change stages, the position of the Earth in the sky actually changes as if you're orbiting the Earth. Well, because since the moon is orbiting the Earth. Although technically, because of the barycenter of the two gravitational masses, they're technically both orbiting the barycenter of their binary planetary system, because a lot of people would say that the moon and the Earth are much closer to a binary planetary system than a planet and a moon. Oh, I got hit by his projectile. I got too distracted with astrophysical theory. Astrophysical? Well, yeah, that's right, astrophysical. Sounds like George Jetson's dog is sick and he has to get an astrophysical. Oh no, Dom! I'm never gonna get to the UFO at this rate. Okay, wasn't it like George Jetson's boss was? Oh, okay. Well, there's two companies. There's Spacely Space Sprockets and Cogswell Cogs, because obviously the future sprockets are going to be very, very important. As if sprockets and cogs aren't the same thing. Actually, I think they are slightly different. Now I'm really getting into the semantics. Wasn't it the big thing that his boss was always firing him, and he was like, "Jetson, you're fired!" Whereas Homer Simpson didn't get fired that much. He got fired a few times. All right, so this rod, that goes in the back, and then this goes onto it. That seems awfully tight. Then you glue the D-pad on top of that. Didn't they also have like some stupid alien pet with like spring legs? What was that stupid thing's called? Coily? Sproily? I have buttons for A and B, but they're not as critical. Guess I need to 3D print more of those parts too. Alright, let's see if I can get to the evil saucer. Tenshu, stealth assassin. You must kill the evil landlord. Bow, 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 bow. Bow, 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 bow. That game had an excellent soundtrack. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Do 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 do. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. All right, I can't do two voices at once, but then we go do do dun 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 do 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 dun 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 dun. The ball monsters and the flying saucers. Now that's an alien! Ah! Ah! This is not the easiest game. This is the Dark Souls of Moon Patrol. Time to cheat. I gave myself 5 lives and I'm gonna start at the UFO. Unless I don't. Oh, I started at stage 2. Oh crap, I forgot stage 2 gets really fast. Oh no, it's like the turbo tunnels. It's the boss. Dun 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 dun. Ah! Maybe I can cheese the boss. This is the Dark Souls of Ed Wood. Oh, oh, he's coming at me. Oh, okay, he missed me. What would be the Dark Souls of retro? Maybe like Ninja Gaiden? Extra Life! Or Battletoads. Yeah, probably Battletoads. Oh, now I'm on stage 2. Turbo Tunnel! Let's see if I can survive my own game. I can't remember if there's... I know there's not an end to this. I think the levels just keep getting harder and harder until you cannot possibly get past them. Got a kill screen coming up. But see, stage 2, it's got like moon... Oh, I killed myself. Stage 2 has Moontopia in the background. Okay, so the A-B button caps. If you'd like to put them on, grab one of these 3D printed pieces. And you're going to need 2 of these white posts. The posts go in from the rear. Like so. Then put the buttons on like that. Make sure it's loose when you do this. Don't like scrunch the buttons down. I'm actually going to just take my iron, hit that, clean the iron. Oh, wow. Yeah, I wonder if I should reprint it and have the flange be a little higher. That might not be the worst idea. Maybe make the flange a little higher and make this separator a little... Well, actually, the thing is, it's not really flexing by that thin separator. It's flexing here. So if anything, I should make this mass and that mass smaller. Yeah. Well, I think I'll redesign that before the show, so it should be fine, just to make sure it's as easy as possible for people to assemble it. It's not like I'm some sort of master craftsman. I'm just some hack on YouTube, but if I have trouble with something, a noob would have a lot of trouble with it. Well, there you go. Oh, wait, there's one more part. And I should have almost enough lanyards for everyone this time. A double-ended lanyard, so you can wear it at the show. See? And then you can go into... So, all right, so this would be hanging off your neck like this, right? So that's why it can be rotated. B plus... Oh, no. Right, so you rotate it, and then you can go to clock mode, and then you have a clock hanging around your neck, just like Flava Flav. I slightly modified the B and A buttons. I just figured I would figure this out now and not procrastinate, because I have some time. I also made the white post a little taller. Okay. Try this. Oh no, my iron. Oh, look at that one. See that? Oh, maybe I made the post a little too tall. 4 baby turtles. They were crawling in a strange glowing ooze. So I gave them all names. I too was growing, particularly in intellect. Okay, that seems pretty good. The old one, it had a connection in the middle, but it made it a little too stiff. So this one, I've flared out the connections here and here. A little tiny connector in the middle, because if you don't have that, the buttons will flip around. I also reduced the profile as much as I could. Well, they're about the same thickness as these, but there's a little bit more tolerance around the tack switch. Like you can say, oh, the tack switch is exactly 6mm, but you know, myself or anyone else might not place a tack switch perfectly centered onto the pads, and even if one is off, then the distance between these two openings is going to be, you know, the error will accumulate. So I added more tolerance for that. But I think this should be good. Well, I think that's about all I have to say about this project. Hopefully this video gives you a good heads up on what to expect when soldering it. I'll probably also link in the original video as well from last November. I promise I will change the date on the splash screen. And I think as of this video's posting, I think there's 10 or so spots left. So we are getting down to the wire with how many people can still sign up. I will have extra circuit boards, although I won't have extra sets of parts because, as I mentioned, these microcontrollers are becoming kind of unobtainium. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video about the gameBadge 2022 edition, and I guess I'll see some of you at the Midwest Gaming Classic at the end of April. Oh yeah, so it's Friday the 29th of April. It's going to be in the Bit Built area, just like last year, and it's goes from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So we actually added an hour as well. Since we added 10 people, I just want to make sure that everyone leaves with a working unit. All right, well, I guess safe travels to MGC, and we'll see you soon. Bud, I'm done with my video. You have to come upstairs now. You can't stay in this box. I know you like to be in this box, but you cannot be in my secret lab unless I am here to watch you and supervise you. Ouch, that hurt. You know, one of these days I'm going to make an automatic claw trimmer for you. I'm going to totally make that into a video. Are you a large boy? Large boy. No, don't eat the camera. Look, bud, it's still daylight out. Thanks to daylight savings time. Oh, you don't care.